The house was never listed on any map. Yet everyone in the town of Grey Hollow knew it. It stood at the edge of the forest where the fog never lifted, a 3-story structure with windows like dark eyes and a door that never stayed locked. People called it the Holloway House. No one could say who built it. No one could remember seeing it being built. It was simply there, older than memory, breathing quietly while the town grew afraid around it. When I inherited the house from a man I had never met, I thought it was a mistake. The letter said he was my great-uncle. I had no family records of him. Still, the keys arrived, cold and heavy, along with a single warning written in shaky ink: "Do not stay past midnight." I laughed at that. Horror warnings always sounded dramatic until they weren't. I arrived just before sunset. The house looked abandoned, but the air around it felt occupied, like someone was standing just behind my shoulder. As soon as I stepped inside, the door closed on its own. Not slammed, just decided. The smell inside was old wood and dust and something metallic underneath. The walls were covered in portraits. Every face had the eyes scratched out. I told myself it was vandalism, but deep down I knew it was something else. The clock in the hallway started ticking the moment I noticed it. It read 11:07 p.m. I hadn't seen it move before. I explored the house slowly. Each room felt wrong in a different way. The living room was warm, too warm, like someone had just stood up from the couch. The kitchen had plates on the table, food long rotted, yet arranged neatly as if waiting. Upstairs, the bedrooms were worse. One room had my name carved repeatedly into the walls. I touched the carving. It was fresh. My phone had no signal, but it suddenly buzzed anyway. A notification appeared with no sender. "You came back late." My heart dropped. I had never been here before. Or had I? The clock downstairs chimed once. 11:30 p.m. I remembered the warning. I decided to leave. The front door would not open. The handle turned, but the door stayed still, as if the house had grown roots. The temperature dropped. The portraits downstairs began to change. The scratched eyes slowly darkened, then filled in, all of them staring at me. Their mouths opened at the same time, but no sound came out. My phone buzzed again. "You're not supposed to remember yet." I ran upstairs, footsteps echoing behind me though I was alone. Or so I thought. In the hallway mirror, my reflection lagged half a second behind. When I stopped, it smiled. I smashed the mirror. The smile stayed on the broken pieces. The clock chimed again. 11:58 p.m. The house began to whisper. Not voices, memories. I heard laughter I recognized. Pain I felt before but couldn't place. A door at the end of the hall creaked open by itself. Inside was a small room with no windows and a single chair facing the wall. Words were written there in deep grooves. "Sit and remember." I refused. The house didn't care. The floor bent, pulling me forward. I fell into the chair. The door slammed shut, my head filled with images. Me as a child, standing in this house. Me hiding under the stairs while someone screamed. Me locking a door. Me leaving. I remembered now. This house didn't trap people. It kept them. Every person who entered and never left became part of it. Caretakers. Watchers. Voices. I had escaped once. It had waited for me to return. The clock struck midnight. The door opened. The house was calm again. Warm. Welcoming. The portraits now had faces intact. Every one of them was me, older, younger, broken in different ways. The phone buzzed one last time. Welcome home. The next morning, a neighbor walking his dog saw the front door open for the first time in years. The house looked empty, quiet. For sale sign appeared by itself. And somewhere inside, the clock reset to 11:07 p.m., waiting for the next name it already knew. The clock did not tick anymore. It breathed. It always starts the same way. With silence. The kind of silence that feels watched. In many parts of the world, people report fear not because something attacked them, but because something noticed them first. In the late hours of night, when streets empty and forests breathe, real horror does not announce itself. It waits. In the United States, a man once wrote about walking home past midnight, when he noticed someone ahead of him under a streetlight. The figure moved strangely, not walking, not dancing, but swaying unnaturally, as if its joints did not understand human rhythm. As the man slowed, the figure stopped. When it turned, its face wore a smile too wide, too deliberate, a smile that did not belong to joy. The distance between them never closed, yet the man felt chased. For weeks after, he saw the same figure in different places, always far, always smiling, until one night it simply stopped appearing. No explanation was ever found. Only the memory of being chosen. In England, an old house in Pontefract became famous not because of rumors, but because too many people saw the same thing. A tall black figure, shaped like a monk, appeared in hallways, stood beside beds, watched families sleep. Objects moved without touch. Children spoke to empty corners. Police officers witnessed furniture sliding on its own. This was not one story. It lasted years. The house still stands, quiet now, but visitors report the same feeling: something inside recognizes you. In Russia, 9 experienced hikers entered the Ural Mountains in 1959 and never came back alive. Their tent was found ripped open from the inside. Footprints led into the snow barefoot, as if fear erased logic. Some bodies were discovered days later, others months, positioned in ways that suggested panic, not planning. Internal injuries without external wounds. Tongues missing, eyes gone. Official explanations changed over decades, but the truth never settled. Whatever they encountered that night did not chase them. It made them flee from safety into death. In New York, a family moved into a house with a violent past. Soon they reported voices, shadows, walls bleeding dark stains. Their lives collapsed in less than a month. Some say it was fake. Others point out that the house never stayed empty for long, yet no family ever stayed comfortably. Sometimes horror doesn't need to be real to be powerful. It only needs to be believed by the house itself. And then there are the calls. The babysitter cases. Real police records show calls traced from inside the same house, upstairs, while the babysitter waited downstairs thinking danger was outside. Fear works best when it removes distance. These stories are not connected by place or time. They are connected by pattern. Silence, attention, recognition. People don't stumble into horror. Horror notices people who are alone, tired, distracted, and curious. The most terrifying truth is not that something followed them, but that it knew when to stop. Real horror rarely ends with screams. It ends with survival and a permanent feeling that something unfinished is still out there. Watching, waiting, learning names. And tonight, as you listen to this, somewhere in the dark, something might be learning yours. It begins when night deepens and the familiar world feels unfamiliar. Many people report that horror is not sudden. It creeps, unnoticed, like a shadow stretching across the floor. A family in a quiet suburb of the United States moved into a house where the previous occupants had vanished without explanation. At first, the walls were just cold, the lights flickered occasionally. Then the whispers began, not voices, but murmurs, soft and indistinct, coming from empty rooms. One night, the mother found toys arranged in the living room that she had never owned. Her children were asleep upstairs. Every night, the toys shifted. No one ever touched them,